Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Huddle Time. You are here. It is Friday. It's Huddle Time with Ronit. How are you guys all doing? I hope you're doing really good. As you're chiming in, I'm going to rumble. I'm going to talk about things as you're coming in until we get the time to introduce our special guest today. But I just wanted to say good morning. It's 8 o'clock in Seattle. Beautiful sunny day. It's going to be like in the 80s this whole weekend. Hi, Simon. Good morning. So good to see you here. As you coming in into this show, into Huddle Time with Ronit, I just wanted to say hi, happy Friday, right? It's the first time that I feel that we are actually in Friday because every day to me feels like Sunday. And this week is the first time that I feel like this is it. Like this is starting to be good again. Not that it wasn't good. Of course, this was a journey, something new to learn for all of us. But there's a lot of great things are happening. Salons are opening all over the country, so this is great. Um, it's amazing when you look back when we started about 6 weeks ago, this quarantine, and what have evolved through it, and the things that we've learned. When I started this show for us. I didn't know what is Facebook Live. I mean, I kind of knew, and I knew I was gonna work with Facebook Live. Hey, everybody! Good morning. I'm just saying hello to everybody as you're coming in. Say hi. Come on in. Where are you guys from? How you doing? Hey, Jenny. So good to see you. Give me a thumbs up if you're a 10, or let me know where are you from 1 till 10. Where are you? 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't matter where you are, because by the end of this, you're going to be on a 9. I promise you that. So 38 degrees in Michigan. Whoa, that just not right. Not right. It's 80 degrees here, so I wish I can tell you you can get on a plane and get over here, but no. Jenny is on a 7. 7. We're gonna get you up till 9, girl. Simon in Florida. Oh well, it's always 80 degrees in Florida, if not 100. Sue, so good to see you're on a 9. Well, listen, guys. Just when we started this whole thing about 6 weeks ago, I don't even know. I don't even want to count. Um, we started this because we thought we're going to be here for a couple of weeks and we're going to be here for maybe a couple months. We didn't know what's this Huddle Time with Ronit is going to be. What we did know is we were going to unite all of us and help all of us, including me, because this was a big help for me, to not only navigate. Okay, so it started with navigation. It started with and by the way, you don't know Bill yet because Bill has a baseball cap, and one of these days I'm going to bring him in front of the camera. He's opening the door as we speak and letting the dogs out. Who let the dogs out? Ooh, 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 ooh. So he lets the dogs out because they can just come over and destroy this camera and all of that. But Adrian is 39 degrees in Munster. Whoa, it is too cold. What's up with that? You know what? I'm from Boston, so I can relate. I've been we're in Seattle right now because the kids live here. And when Corona things happened, and just a few months before, we decided, why don't we just be in Seattle for this whole thing? So I'm really glad that we chose that because everybody thinks Seattle is rainy all the time, but it is not. It's very sunny. Anyway, so we started this because we wanted to help, we wanted to support, we want to support you. But my idea was not just about supporting. It's going to be how can we change and how can we thrive? Because I believe that with a little change and a little reset, we can thrive. So going back 6 weeks ago, the plan was to bring as many people, icons in the industry, thought leaders in the industry, brand managers, social media managers, anything and anybody that we can learn from to better our life, to better our life. And what does that mean? As how can we better our life? Well, by working by design. but knowing exactly what we want from our life, right? So this was the whole plan, and I can't even tell you how wonderful it's been for me. I know you guys have been enjoying. Hey, Andrea. Andrea's on a 9 today. That is so super awesome. So how you guys all doing? Put comments in it. Let me know what are the things that you wish somebody told you, and help you, and something that you're not 100% sure of what to do, right? Like any question, just put it in there, because it's free. It's free, so put it out there. Okay, so there's a couple things I want to tell you. And first, I'm going to tell everybody, whoever doesn't know me yet, my name is Ronit Enos. I'm Ronit, and you're at my show, Huddle Time with Ronit. And together we partnered with the Cosmetologists of Chicago and the America Beauty Show, because America's Beauty Show had to postpone their show, like many of you. We had to shut doors, and so did we. And I'm a founder of Salon Cadence Academy, which is a training and coaching company for salon owners and beauty professionals. We build wealth and confidence so you can have a meaningful life, the lifestyle that you actually want. That's what we do with our clients every day. So I decided, let's take that show and bring it right here. And we're so lucky because we brought in innovators and entrepreneurs and thought leaders to inspire and educate us. And this is becoming a wonderful thing, which I'm sure you guys are loving it, I hope. So today we're going to talk about immune system and fatigue. And what I want you guys to do is plan of how to go back and have more energy and a great immune system to build and understand what does it really takes to build an immune system. Now, you might think that to build an immune system is a lot of woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. There's a lot of talks out there. There's a lot of new habits. A lot of us are talking about it a lot, but maybe a lot of us are not actually implementing things, right? So today we're going to learn what are the things that you need to implement to build an immune system. Now, so good morning. And I wanted to ask you guys, what are you grateful today for? What are you grateful for? If you can think about one thing, please, one thing that you're grateful for. And I want to challenge you with that. So for example, I'm grateful for my cup of coffee. I'm grateful for how good it tastes. I'm grateful that I'm able to do this, and I can do this with you guys. Now, why am I grateful? Because I'm so lucky that I'm able to drink coffee today. So there's two things I want to just mention to you. First of all, I want to talk about goals. Yeah, there's a difference between goals that we think about things and we write about them, and there's a difference between actions of goals. Goals to actions. Hey, Jenny, you're grateful for the time to be with my 14 years old daughter. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so wonderful that we have the time right now to be there. So what did you learn, Jenny, from being there with your daughter? What are the things that you're going to do differently now, going back? Heather is grateful for being home safely with my family. I love that. Talking about safety, what are you going to do now? What you're going to go back to keep the momentum that you guys have? So I hope that, guys, we're going to talk about how to plan of creating the life that you actually want by going back. Many of you might think about resetting and the opportunities that we get to build the life that we want in the work that we want, right? We're going back. We're going to have salons. We're going to have a lot of new norms and new things that we talked about it all these weeks. But what I want to talk to you about today is how are you going to build your immune system, and how you're going to go back, making sure that if we do have another pandemic, if we do have another surge, you are planning for it. You are thinking about that. And so when things do happen, it's under control because we've been here before. All right, so we have a great guest coming up on Friday too, and I can't wait to share that with you. But I will also going to introduce you to my very, 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 very special guest. His name is Evan Hirsch, and he is a fatigue doctor. Now, Evan and I have known each other for quite some times, and I will tell you all about it. But Evan, he is number one best-selling author of Fix Your Fatigue, the four-step process to resolving fatigue, achieving abundance of energy, which we all know we have as hairdressers, right? Beautician, we all have so much energy, but we all crash, right? And is it normal? Is it sustainable? And how to reclaim your life back, right? How to have sense to it, how to have consistency, how to work in the new norm. He's also one of the world's leading experts on finding the root causes of fatigue and resolving them naturally. I can't wait to talk to him about that. What does world leading experts actually means? Now, he has a very unique story that he's going to share with you, which I'm really excited to bring to you. And he's a neighbor. He's right here in Washington State. And let's bring Evan in. Hi, Evan. Good morning. All the way from Olympia Mountains, gorgeous mountains. Hey, guys. Say hi to Evan.
Morning, Ronit. Thanks so much for having me on. You know, when you were talking about how beautiful it is in Seattle, I was thinking, when I first moved here, that people said it was so beautiful in the summers, and I said, "What's going on?" I thought it rained all the time, and they said, "Shh, don't tell." That's what we tell the rest of the world, so they don't move here.
It's so true. But it is such a huge place that anybody can be here and it doesn't feel crowded at all. So, it's so true, but it is just amazing how beautiful it is here. I've never even imagined that. Now, guys, let me know how's the sound. If you can hear us really well, it's really great because you know how glitchy it can be streaming. But we're here. So, um, Evan, Evan and I met a year ago when we were in a conference in Mexico, and we got together and we found out that we have a lot of common. First of all, Evan visited Israel, and he's been in Israel many times. He actually lived in Israel, and he spoke Hebrew to me. So it was so awesome to speak Hebrew from somebody in Mexico, and nobody speaks Hebrew, so it was really great. Um, but there's a lot of great commonalities that we shared. Our philosophies, our values are very similar in the state of we uh, we believe that we can build the life that we actually want and the career that we want. We believe together that if you have a very powerful mindset with a very powerful mind and body, and if you know exactly what you want out of life, you can make your company work for you. You can make your life work for you, right? So for working by design, and what better opportunity happened for us with challenging times, for sure. But the things that it allows us is to reset and learn a lot. And all we've been doing, Evan, is learning a lot in this past 6 weeks. So love to know what got you here.
So my story is, you never know how you're going to end up, right? And we're constantly learning and evolving. And so I went to medical school, and then I went to residency and in family medicine. And the first month in, I met my wife. She was living locally in Olympia, Washington, and we fell in love. And then 3 months later, she had fatigue. She was crashed out. Her energy went down the toilet. And so I started on this mission to help her because I felt completely powerless. Here I am, supposed to be at the top of my learning game, and I'm asking all of the doctors around me. I'm doing the research in conventional medicine and trying to figure out exactly how to help her, and I couldn't. She ended up getting diagnosed by a naturopathic physician with adrenal fatigue, and 3 years later, she was 80% of optimal. So she got mostly better 3 years later. But that was a long time, and that was really hard on her. It was really hard in our relationship. It was hard on me because I couldn't help her, and I went into this career in order to help people, help especially my friends and family, right?
Right.
So that was really hard. And then I finished residency, we got married, we had a kid, I started a business, and then a couple of years later I got fatigue. And my fatigue lasted for 5 years. And it just about destroyed my life. It just about destroyed my business, my personal relationships. I felt incredibly guilty and shameful because I couldn't help out at home. I had this newborn child that I couldn't help out. My wife is just coming out of fatigue, and now she's got to carry everything, including working a full-time job, and she was running her own business, and she's got to do everything at home because all I could do was come home and lie down. In my business, I had 10 employees, 4,000 square feet of office space, and I had to hire additional employees in order to be able to cover the really high overhead that I had. At one point, I had $135,000 of overhead every month that I had to make, and my brain wasn't working right. I had awful body pain, awful brain fog. In addition to the fatigue, I could only work a couple hours a day. So I had to hire other people and try to train them, other practitioners, so that they could bring in money and we could survive. It was incredibly stressful. So for those of you who've had similar situations of overhead and not feeling good, hopefully what we're going to talk about today is really going to help you. So what I found in going through that process was that it was all about the causes. And so when I had fatigue, I started, to dig even deeper into every single book I could find, every single conference that I could go to find all of the causes of fatigue, because I knew if I found all of the causes, I could knock them off one by one, right? Because whether you're working on a human resources issue or you're trying to fix a car, you need to know what the problem is, right? So if you know the problem, then you can fix it.
Right.
And so,
and it's funny because I think we talked about it many times, and I told you that in our industry, the beauty industry, we run on high energy. It's an energy infused on steroids all the time. It's like you're with people all the time. It's almost like an unorganized chaos. And if you think about it, okay, I got a perfect picture. And it's funny because, it's almost like if you were sitting in a cafe in I don't know, in Paris or Tel Aviv on the beach, and it's just nonstop people coming and going, like I don't know, like a flea market. But there's times when you sit down and you look at people, right? Like you people watching. So it's a mixture of all of that. You're trying to make sense from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. You go. And then, of course, you come home, and at home, you have your responsibilities, right? So if you're a business owner, you have that on top of it. If you're a mother, a father, you have all of that on top of it. And you never stop for 1 second to think, to relax, right? So this is the beauty industry. And I thought to myself, Evan, is our conversation will fit this audience today, because before COVID-19, right, before this whole challenging times, this is how it was, right? Now, so going now to home, and we had a major pause. I don't want to go back to organized chaos because it's not even organized. So I want to go back, and I want all of us, and correct me if I know, audience, I want all of you to go back into the life that you actually want now. Is it possible?
Absolutely. And that was my journey too, is that I figured out the causes, I got rid of them, and now I have all the energy that I want. And so it's absolutely possible. And oftentimes having these resets, or it's kind of like going on vacation, even though it was a staycation and there was a lot of stress going on. Hopefully you've learned something by being at home, like you're talking about, that you want to take with you. I want this pace of life. I want this amount of time with my family. I want to make sure that I'm able to manage my stress. And so that's some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today, because those things are going to, you put those things in place like Ronit's been talking about, and you're going to be uber successful.
So lots of our viewers are burned out. They came really burned out. And these days, from uncertainty in their business and in the world, obviously, I know that you have really good tips to help people achieve amazing energy and to deal with the burnout, right? And to maybe avoid burnout. So what do you think will be a good tips, actions for them to take into the new norm?
Yeah, so let's talk about this. So I created this just for you guys because I know that your situations are specific. I help people from, those who can't get out of bed to those whose energy is crashing throughout the day to people who want to optimize their energy. So today we're going to be talking a lot about optimizing energy and preventing burnout, And if you want to go deeper in this work, you can always contact me and I'm happy to share more information with you. But let's talk about the 4 tips that I have for you today. So the first tip that I know Ronit talks about is really about mindset. You know, it's about having a daily practice that is going to enable you to have an invincible mindset. Okay, and this is, there's so many different phrases like this. Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. Probably heard that one. I think it's by Henry Ford.
Yes.
But there's so much of this, and so much, unfortunately, with how society is set up and the fact that our parents haven't been trained in mindset, there are so many voices that we have in our heads that are negative. And we have to create a practice that is going to move us forward instead of holding us back. Now, fortunately, you've got some of those good voices already because you had the confidence to start your own business. Which is a huge thing in itself. And the fact that if you are still working, you still have a sustainable business, or before this, you had a sustainable business and you were able to make ends meet, even though it can be very stressful. So in terms of mindset, the first thing is to have a gratitude practice. Like Ronit was talking about this morning. It can be something as simple as your coffee, or it can be gratitude for spending time with loved ones. I always start off every single day with gratitude for my wife, my amazing wife, and all that she does for me, our family, and the world, my amazing daughter, and then also for the ability for a paycheck, for the ability to have an avocation that I'm able to take care of my family and help people.
I want to talk about gratitude and go a little bit deeper into that. Because it's something we hear now, it's like becoming like the norm. Okay, gratitude here and gratitude there. But I think I just want to ask you even more so because our clients at Salon Cadence members, they had a tough week last week. It wasn't this week, but it was the week before that they really had some tough. And it's funny, they all came in and says, oh, I want, because they were in the reaction zone now. They had to create something going back, a plan to go back, and there was a lot of frustration and overwhelmed feelings about it. And one particular one left a message on Voxer saying, I'm just having really challenges with my staff. I'm having really challenges with going back in a certain way that I had in my mind. And there was a lot of emotion. So my first question for any one of them, how often or have you not consistently had a gratefulness practice? And have you deviate from that? Because I think many times we zigzag out of it from that practice. And I know for myself, if I don't go deep inside my gratitude every day, if I miss one practice of gratitude, which is about 30 minutes for me, right? My whole day is not the same. My whole day is not the same. Do you do that? Do you do it every day? Do you have a structure? Do you deviate from your routine? How do you create that routine for yourself? And why gratitude is so important? Why? What does it do to us? The science behind this.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you. If I don't do it before I get out of bed in the morning, so I wake up and that's the first thing that I do. I say thank you, thank you, thank you. and I really get in touch with what thank you means. And then I started saying thank you for all the things around me, those three that I just mentioned. And then I expanded out into the universe for all the other things. I'm grateful for the health of my parents. I'm grateful for the health of my siblings. I'm grateful for all the people that I can help. I'm grateful for whatever, for the sun outside. It can be something small, it can be something big. But yes, I absolutely agree. So I do it in bed before I even get out of it. And I really try to get in touch with those feelings because it makes a huge difference. We know from mindfulness, my wife Stacy is a mindfulness coach and she's taught me this. We know from mindfulness that when you are in touch with the sensations in your body, that is how you really affect change. And when you actually know what gratitude feels like, less of an intellectual exercise, but as you said, kind of sitting in, stewing in, soaking in that gratitude, that can make a huge difference in how you're actually conveying or taking that gratitude with you throughout the day. So that's the first thing. And there's a lot of science behind this. There was a Harvard study done a number of years ago where they found that 3 gratitudes a day, really that's all you need, had a 60% decrease in depression and anxiety. And this is done time and time again, where really significant decreases are associated with gratitude practices. And a lot of what's happening in the brain is you're rewiring. A lot of this stuff is based off of neuroplasticity, which is this idea that you can rewire the brain and you can change how it's structured, both physiologically in terms of function, but then also anatomically. And this is just a really burgeoning science right now, and very exciting to see. And we'll touch on this as we go through the daily practice that I recommend about how some of these other components also affect that neuroplasticity.
That's great. Let's go into those tips. I know that a lot of our viewers would love to hear about how to build the right immune system. So I'm going to let you just go right into that, from gratitude to immune.
Okay, well, the mindset component actually has a couple of components, and it is related to the immune system. So I'm going to touch on that first before we jump in, if that's right.
Perfect. Yes, love it.
Yeah. So one of the important things, just kind of big picture around the immune system, is the immune system is very much related to stress. And this can be mental, emotional, or physical stressors. Okay, those have big effects on the stress hormones that are released in the body from the adrenal gland, as well as other hormones, and those all relate to how the immune system functions. Okay, now mental emotional stressors can be remedied by this mindset practice that I'm talking about today. So the first step is gratitudes, like we just mentioned. The second step is envisioning your perfect day, envisioning what you want your life to look like. And so this really has to do with the fact that the brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So when you're watching that horror film, your body physiologically is having that same response. Now you realize that you're not at risk for dying, but your body is having a very similar reaction, and consequently, it's draining certain stress hormones. It's releasing stress hormones, but it ends up over the long term draining those hormones. And it's the same thing with having negative interactions in your life. So one of the things is realizing what your perfect day looks like, and that's envisioning every moment of that day. So you go through, okay, you wake up in the morning, do you exercise, you go and you greet your family, what sort of interactions are you having with them? You're all lovey-dovey and hugging each other. You go in, you have breakfast. What is your breakfast? How do you proceed to work? What does work feel like? And feeling into what things are is a lot more important than seeing them or thinking about them. So actually feeling, what does it feel like to be at work when work is going well, right? And you're not waiting for the other shoe to drop. And how do you move through your day so that your relationships, your business, your personal, your everything in your life is exactly how you want it? Because the more that you create that, the more that the body and the brain and the universe sees what you want, and then your body is, and then your universe and your reality actually becomes what you're envisioning. So I know that this sounds a little bit out there, but it actually works, and the science backs it up. Where if you envision, and this has been done, there was another Harvard study what's it with these Harvard studies? So, so there was another Harvard study that was done where they took piano players, so accompanists or pianists, and one of them were actually playing the piano, and another one was actually just envisioning playing the piano. And besides the muscle memory, which they needed, they both performed equally as well.
Yeah.
So without even touching the keys, they were able to perform well. So this is just one example of many examples of how if you envision what you want in your life, you are going to be able to achieve that. You're going to be able to bring yourself to that.
So if I'm taking it into the salon industry, right, where we are, it's just a good practice to practice every day a visual and maybe even write it down. Like I'm the kind of a person that I need to write everything down when I visualize it, so it will actually embed it in my brain of what do I want my day. So it's not a to-do list, guys. This is not a to-do list. This is actually how you want your day to be. And if you, I think what you're saying, that if you do it quite every day, the feelings that you're going to get from them is happy feelings versus stress feeling. And that is actually less draining on your adrenals, which is causes fatigues, right? And happiness is elevated at this point. So that's a great tip, everybody. This is really, really good. So if you can take 20 minutes just to do gratefulness and then visualize your day. But when you know, I understand we can talk about it hours about what happens when something bad hit us, right? And how you work on your mechanism. I'd love to talk about what would be the next action that we need to do in order to create a strong energy.
So then the last thing on the mindset is about empowering beliefs. Okay, so it's looking at what are those things that are holding you back. You know, in my programs, I recommend that people print out a list of limiting beliefs, and you circle the beliefs because you can find them online. And you circle those limiting beliefs that you know that you're thinking on a regular basis. And what you do then is you take the opposite of that. You know, there's not enough time, there's not enough money, you know, my business is going to go under, blah, blah, whatever. And those are the empowering beliefs, the opposite of those things. There's always enough time, there's always enough money, everything's always working out for me. And those are the things that you say in the morning. So you do the gratitudes, you do the visioning, and then you do those empowering beliefs, and you do them to the point where you believe them. And you take just, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever sort of time you have, you can really compress that down, but it's a very important practice.
Yeah, so it's
and
like
all of that,
practice.
Yeah, it takes practice. And all of that is a huge contributor to decreasing the mental and the emotional stress that you have in your life, and it changes how you look at it. Now, part of this is also avoiding stressful things. So, avoiding the media, avoiding social media, avoiding your email, except for certain times a day, so that, you want to make sure, if you're looking at your email, oftentimes it's something that somebody's asking from you.
Yeah.
If you are looking on social media, everybody's posting how great their life is. And so it puts you into comparison.
Yeah.
If you're listening to the media or the news, oftentimes it's always worst case scenario.
It is, and it's like there's a science behind it. There's more people who are social media, they're more depressed, and less people are social, they're less depressed. So that's kind of like the science behind it. Now, what do people actually once they achieve a really good mindset practice, which is a practice just like yoga, it's going to continue forever, just like doing a better haircut or just like doing a better color, you got to practice. How are we moving into building, because I know we spoke about it, you and I spoke about things that we need not to eat or things that we need not to do in order to create a good immune system. And how does that play in our daily? Because as hairdressers, we work from behind a chair. As a salon owners, we hardly ever have time to eat. So we need new routines, new norms, obviously. But what are the things that should not be doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, there's a lot of information out there about what you should be eating or what you shouldn't be eating. And in reality, you should be eating mainly plants, and that half of your plate every single time you sit down should really be vegetables. So it really should be plants. And then you can have some meat and you can, or some protein, and then you can have a little bit of a starch. But the easier, so I mean, that's kind of like the simple way of looking at it. And the things that you really should be avoiding are things that are going to suppress the immune system. They're going to give you brain fog. They're going to make you crash. And those are sugars. And those are things that get converted into sugars. So basically, anything that has sugar in it, anything that has a grain in it is not ideal, and especially gluten. So gluten is wheat. So don't go shooting the messenger here. But oftentimes, the reason why we love those foods so much is actually because gluten produces gluteomorphines in the gut. So when you consume, so gluten is the protein that's found in wheat. So you eat wheat, whether it's bread, whether it's pasta, and it's going to produce morphine in the gut. And what ends up happening when you got morphine in the gut? Well, it ends up slowing down your gut transition, your gut transit rather, and you can end up getting constipated. It increases inflammation in the gut. Oftentimes people will report having digestive issues. So it causes all sorts of problems. In turn, and also, this is one of those stressors that we talked about, a physical stressor. When you're eating the wrong foods, that ends up decreasing your energy. So what I recommend is you have to get good at snacks, you know, especially when you've got a really busy lifestyle. You have to make sure that you've got carrots available. You've got to make sure that you've got like some sort of meat snack available. So there's, you know, Epic bars that are available. There's Tonka bites that can be really supportive if you need a snack that's on the go. So these are some bars that are mainly meat. The Tonka bites are like meat and buffalo and cranberry, quite good. And you know, you can do those very easily, very quickly. And then you also have vegetables, which, you know, you cut up some celery first thing in the week, and then you grab a bunch of that every single day, and you chew on that in between clients, and it's going to keep your blood pressure stable. If you grab a candy bar or you're grabbing something that's high in sugar, then what ends up happening is you get some energy, but then you're just going to crash like an hour or two later, and you're going to be like,
Yeah.
gosh, it's 3 o'clock.
How
I need
about
some coffee.
how about, you know, I'm a biker, so I'm a cyclist, and a lot of our a lot of things that we do is we create something with peanut butter, and we also create we do our own natural potatoes, like potato fries, but they're not really fries. We bake them and we eat them. I know it's a different type of mentality. And I know a lot of people are not going to 100% eliminate all the sugars in the world. So if we could do everything 70%, right? And the other 30% will be the indulging part. Would one slice of bread be good? And if not, what would be a good bread? With instead of crackers, can we use rice thins or rice crackers? Because I understand that we want to eliminate sugars, right? But I'll tell you the truth. Last night I had to have 3 cookies. I needed to have 3 cookies. And it was so delicious and so awesome. So what can we do instead of those cookies? I live right here by the Met, and the Met has this biggest cookie called the cookie. And it's just heaven in a cookie. And so I had to have that. But for those times, right? For those times, what do you do, right, Jenny? You have to have a cookie. So what do you do in order to eliminate? And you know, I'm a cake person. I love cakes and I love ice cream and I love all those things. And I understand that when you're bored, you do that more. But in order to eliminate that by 70% and only do 30% of whatever, Anna says the 20/80 rules. That's what she believes in. So, you know, what do you think? What do you suggest to do? How can we move to your side faster, Evan?
Yeah. Yeah, so the baby step to this is to just go gluten free. So don't change what you're eating. You can keep eating pasta, you can keep eating bread, just make it gluten free. Okay,
Got it.
there's a lot of really nice options out there. Just buy a couple of loaves and see what's going to work for you. If you toast bread, it works well. I mean, there are so many options of pasta too. There's rice pasta and there's sweet
Chickpeas.
potato pasta and there's
Chickpeas. I love chickpeas.
chickpea pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's There's kale pasta. I mean, there's a lot of really great options out there, and they all taste quite good. And especially, you throw in some spaghetti sauce and stuff like that, you can't really tell the difference. So that's the first thing that I usually recommend for people to do, because it's the easiest thing to just substitute the things that have wheat in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it makes a world of difference for people. Their inflammation goes down, blood pressure can go down, blood sugars will go down, they're sleeping better.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a list of 10 to 20 things that gluten does to cause negative reactions in your body. So the sooner, if you take one thing away from this, if you can just start eliminating gluten from your life, and then during the day, if you're going to eat a cookie, try to eat them at night, because during the day, all it's going to do is make your energy crash. So if you can try to decrease the amount that you're doing during the day, and eating more protein and fat, like you talked about, if you've got peanut butter, if you want to combine, if you look up fat bombs, BOMBS, online, and look up like gluten-free, dairy-free fat bombs, you can make some really fun little protein and fat-packed items that you can just take with you, and you can just pop those, and they really help your blood sugar be sustained throughout the day.
Evan, do you have any kind of recipe on your website, like great snacks recipes? I mean, will you create recipes like that for us, please? That would be awesome. And if you don't, maybe we should start thinking about it. Kimberly just joined, and Lucinda's just joined. And hello, Lucinda. Hello, Kimberly. And if anybody has questions to Evan, this is a good time. We're going to take some questions right now. And Kimberly said that today is National Free Donut Day, and she had a donut and she feels so sick from it. So just to recap, okay, guys, we're going to focus on 4 things that you can do to elevate your energy, eliminate fatigue, but more than anything, build your immune system from this virus, okay? Because we're going to head to maybe another surge, who knows? But what can we do to avoid and building our immune system even stronger?
Yeah, so an important point too is that, you guys might be thinking, what does this have to do with building your immune system? And it's actually everything. If you look at the people who are dying from the virus right now, it's people who are eating in a particular way. It's people who don't have a particular mindset. It's going to be some of these other components that we talk about. It's people who have high blood pressure and heart disease and heart attack, and so much of that is from diet and nutrition. So these are practical tools that you can do right away that can really decrease your risk for having a virus, dying from a virus, and will boost your immune system.
Now, how do Scott is here. Scott is from Alaska, and Scott is asking, how do you incorporate this different lifestyle within your crazy week? And I always say, plan, right? So, how do you plan? What is your suggestion? Because we all hit the road running at 8 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and our day is really crazy. So what are the good things to do in order to make sure that this becomes a habit?
Yep, so if you don't schedule it, it's not going to happen, right? If you fail to plan, you can plan to fail, right? So you have to put it on your calendar. So I have, first thing in the morning, wake up at 6:30, and then for 30 minutes I've got my morning practice. And you let everybody know in the family that this is important, and this is doctor's orders, this has been prescribed, and so that you have that time focus. And then when it comes to eating, when you need to prep your food, hopefully you can do it all in one day. Sundays are our day where we do a lot of prepping. We cut everything up, so that we can just pull things out and we can make it throughout the week. And so you set aside that time, you have it on your calendar, an alarm goes off and says, hey, time to do this. And whatever you're doing, you stop what you're doing and then you come back to it.
Yeah.
And then you can come back to that. You do that thing that's a task. And that's the way that you're going to be successful in anything that you want to accomplish in your life. And so This is just adding those things on and making it a priority. And then really taking a look at, what your priorities are. So my wife leads people through a values exercise, and so you can see like her top value was growth, my top value was fun, right? And so how do we achieve both on our own, and then what do we come together and what do we do? You know, that's one conversation. But then how do you figure out, okay, if these are my values in life, you know, how do I achieve them? So if you want to live a long time and you want to be uber successful, you gotta do it with good health. You know,
Yeah,
and all
of
of the
course.
uber successful people, I keep on saying Uber for some reason, all the very successful people in life, in business and whatnot, they all exercise, they all watch their diet, or a lot of them do. And those who are going to be most successful are going to be able to live longer and have greater quality of life. They're gonna implement these things, and they're gonna make sure that they happen.
Yeah, because here's the deal. The deal is that you can only be productive for so many hours a day. And if you want to operate, sometimes you just don't know how foggy you are until you unfog yourself, right? It's like if you, and I will tell you, I have practiced the way you recommend eating probably for 25 years. 25 years, we have been eliminating 70% from our diet, the gluten, anything that is processed, we don't eat. We are so strict. We are flexitarian, which basically means most of what we eat are vegetables, which is wonderful. But I will say that there's a couple things that I that I'm puzzled about. What if you get sick? What can you do in the salon environment? Are there any supplements that we can use when we have 10 employees, 20 employees, 50 employees? You know, I used to keep supplements for to build your help your immune system boost at the salon. And we at Huddle Time, that's what we would do. We would just part of what we did is like take supplements for all of us. So what
Yeah.
what do you recommend for making sure that if we do feel a little bit sick, if we do feel a little bit tired, I understand that what we need to do is ask ourselves, have we done our practice? Have we eliminate the sugars? Have we got rid of dairy? You know, what have we got rid of? Are we on it? But yet maybe we're still burning out. Maybe there's still something around that comes. And how do we beat that?
Yeah. Thank you for the prompt. Yeah, that's the next step on this, and I believe that everybody needs to be taking certain things, and one of those things is adrenal support. So the adrenal gland is a little triangular gland, sits on top of the kidneys, and produces cortisol. And cortisol is our main stress hormone. And so this is when we're talking about stress, we're talking about mental, emotional, and physical stressors. It's all really leaning on that adrenal gland, and it gets burnt out. And when you're burnt out, this is really what's being taxed. And so taking adrenal support is incredibly helpful. And so there's a product that I really like, and I'm happy to give you guys the links to my store. It's exclusively for my clients, but I can give you the links, and you guys can also get 5% off. And the product that I really like on there is called Adrenal PX. I've used it with thousands of people. It's incredibly potent, and yet it's gentle. So it's really great for increasing the amount of energy that you have throughout the day so that you're not crashing throughout the day. And so typically people will need to take one capsule in the morning and then one capsule at noon. Sometimes they may need one capsule at 3 p.m. and some people will need to go up to 2 capsules at each dose. And
That's
that can just really help smooth out your energy. Go ahead.
No, that's great. This is so important. I love that. I love that you're talking about this because I think it's important to have it. And we've been using, obviously, what you've been recommending. And Anna says she takes it and it's amazing. She takes it every day. So,
Yeah.
which is
I
great.
take it. I take it as well, and it's been incredibly helpful for me. And I believe that living in our society, you have to take some adrenal support. If you're going to have a job, if you're going to live on the grid, you have to take some adrenal support because you can do all this other stuff that we're talking about. But with the way that society is constructed and the pressures that are on us and working 40, 80 hours a week, like we're not made for that as humans.
Yeah, no, it's true. Couple of comments that we have and a couple of questions that we have with our audience is Adriana and Bill, both of them have really good insight. They say, excuse me, as a beauty professional, we are not notorious for missing lunch or delaying lunch much later. Due to clients being late or back-to-back clients and schedule, how do you control these bad habits of neglecting ourselves? And this is a serious problem. And Adriana, it is not only hairdressers. In the service business, we often put everybody else first before we put ourselves first. As mothers, we put everybody else first before we put ourselves first. That has to be 180 degrees a change, Adriana, okay? I'm going to challenge you to do that, because here's the thing. You have a software, right? And you have a day and you have choices. And your choice is, Adriana, is to say, I am giving myself, excuse me, an hour lunch every day. So you don't worry about the money, because you'll make more money on the other hours. And don't run back to back. Plan for a good timing. Maybe you need to go to 45 minutes an appointment. But the more important thing is that you implement that for you and for your staff. You need to have a break. You have to have a break. And we're going to talk on Friday. We have a breath master who's going to talk about breathing, which is really important. But what do you think, Evan? Because that's a comment. And Bill says also that what he finds, that hydrating is so important. And he uses apple cider vinegar, a shot of molasses. Really? And I have lost weight from it and feel better. Love that. What do you think about that, Evan?
I think that's great. Yeah. So let me comment on the first one. Yeah, what Ronit said is incredibly important, and that actually comes back to mindset, because if you value yourself and you look at, one of those limiting beliefs is that I'm going to lose this customer if I don't, tell them that I can't see them if they're 15 minutes late, then you're going to perpetuate those bad habits. But standing up for who you are, my time is valuable. If you're late, I'm sorry, we're going to have to reschedule you. This is eating into my lunch hour right now, and just being really respectful, not blaming people, and creating an empowering belief around that you can say every single morning. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if it is unavoidable or if you are hungry throughout the day, like I generally am, having good snacks, like I mentioned. So get carrots, get your almond nut butter or your peanut butter, dip your carrot in there and eat it. And it's the kind of thing that you can just kind of eat and keep moving. Get those Tonka bites that I mentioned, or Epic bars, which are meat, so you can kind of eat those while you're continuing throughout your day. And then what the gentleman said, I forgot his name. Bill, yes, what Bill said, so true. The more that you can stay hydrated, the better off you're going to be. I actually did a test on this where I used to survive on caffeine in medical school, and then when I got into residency, I learned more, and I realized what a detriment I was doing to myself. And I said, well, let's see how I do if I just hydrate early and often. And if you put a little bit of sea salt in there as well, yes, into your water, it really sticks to the ribs. And I found that I felt better than I did when I was drinking all of the caffeine. You just have to start early.
Absolutely.
You have to start off with 12 to 20 ounces first thing in the morning to really clean yourself out.
Yeah.
And then every couple of hours, you should be consuming that. And you should be consuming, if you're 150 pounds or so, you should be consuming about 80 ounces of water or so. So it's 2 to 3 liters, leaning more towards the 3 liters. But yeah, that's all great advice. Apple cider vinegar can be really supportive for increasing your digestive juices. It increases your stomach acid, which is actually more of an issue for people who have reflux. It's usually from low stomach acid as opposed to high stomach acid. And I can go into all those reasons why those stomach acid blockers actually work. We're not going to do that. But just know that apple cider vinegar, if you do have reflux, or if you feel like when you're eating and that food is sitting on your stomach, apple cider vinegar, doing a teaspoon before meals, can really help. Thanks for bringing that up, Bill.
Yeah, no, that's true. Now, what are taco bites? Anna is asking, what are taco bites?
Tonka, so Tanka,
T
bites, yeah, Tonka.
Tonka
Um,
bites.
yeah, Tonka bites.
Got it.
I'm definitely a fan of those. They can come as bars. You can get them as tubes. You can get them in packages of little bites that you can kind of pull out. And that's the buffalo mixed with cranberry. It's a Native American recipe that's called, I don't remember, but it's run by a Native American company, and so it's really good quality beef coupled with the cranberry, so you get a little bit of sweet, and it's just a really nice taste, really moist, so it's not like really tough jerky, and just can really sustain those parts of the
Yeah,
structure.
I see you chewing on those many times. That's so great. So listen, last comment on last question, and this is a message from both of us to all of you guys. Let's reclaim our life back. What does that mean? When we go back, let's not just plan to be very efficient, and let's not just plan to have safety. And yes, all of that is very, very important. We know that. We've been taught that for the past 5 and 6 weeks. We know it. We can dream about it. We can speak about it when we walk and we sleep. Yes, we know everything. But let's do something stronger than that. Let's promise ourselves to reclaim the life that we actually want and not just what we're supposed to do. Adriana, that means you need to plan for you. Plan for your time. 1 hour a day, first thing in the morning, with a glass of water, lemon, apple cider, little salt, whatever that is. It's an hour for you, because without that hour, a lot of things are not going to happen the way you kind of wish them for you to happen. And bring snacks and eliminate sugars and plan to live the life that you want, right? This whole show is about planning to live the life that you want. So plan it, put it on paper every day, visualize it. Evan, couple of last words on the matter, because you have built the life that you want. You went from 4,000 square feet with tens and tens of employees to doing what you love doing, creating the life that you have, building family, making more money than you had when you had 4,000 square feet, and you impacting others people's life. Isn't that the dream that you always wanted?
Absolutely, yeah. So I practice these things, and now I have a virtual practice, so now I can help people from anywhere. This is my office. I work out of my home, and I was very prepared for, this whole quarantine situation. And I was lean, which was really helpful. And so this all came from though that planning process and envisioning what did I like about my business, what did I not like, what was stressing me out, what parts did I want to continue, what parts did I not, and then what does that look like, and then how do I manifest that? So I would encourage that. I mean, whether you need to be in a brick and mortar or you don't, you can go through this process and you can figure out exactly what's going to be very
Absolutely.
supportive.
Thank you for that. Absolutely. Now, Evan, share with us, what are you doing right now? I know you have a group that you help a lot. So what would be the best way to learn more about what you're doing, and anything that you can offer us special for us? Let us know, because we would
Absolutely.
like to be in your world.
Absolutely, yeah. So I have a free Facebook group. That would be a great way for you to get familiar with what I do. It's Fix Your Fatigue with Dr. Evan Hirsch. It's a free group, so you're able to join that. I also have a lot of free information on my website. You can get on a free discovery call with me, where for 45 minutes I'll go into exactly why you have fatigue and what you can do next to get over it. I have some programs, but it's not a salesy call. So if you want to hear about my programs, great. I tell you all the pricing up front, so that there are no surprises. So my goal was really just to serve. I'm on a mission to help 1 million people resolve their fatigue. And so hopefully, if you have fatigue, you can check out my stuff and see if we're a good fit. And I do have a best-selling book that's on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it as a
Fix
paperback.
Your Fatigue. Fixyourfatigue.com
Fix Your
is the
Fatigue.
website. Yeah.
Yes, and the website is fixyourfatigue.com. I've got lots of YouTube videos up where you can learn about this stuff. We didn't get into some of the my immune protocol
Can
for
I
this
have
period of
you
time,
back?
but if yeah, you can definitely have me back. But if people want it, they can just message me, Facebook message me, or contact me from our webpage, and I'm happy to share that information with you.
Thank you so much, Evan. Well, listen, guys, um, we're gonna bring Dr. Evan back here. We're gonna get rid of a lot of things. There's so much to cover. So hopefully we're gonna see Dr. Evan here back into teaching us some more things that he knows. But really, in order for you guys to build your immune system, everything we talked about, if you implement four of those things, you will be fighting anything that comes around you, right? So let's do that. And I guess you can find, I would highly recommend to go into his Facebook group where you can find a lot of great information. And who wouldn't want to have an hour alone with you? So this is an opportunity for everybody to schedule fatigue quest or immune system questions that you have and learn everything that you can about how can you improve your life and your energy. So guys, I'm going to have to say goodbye. It is exactly 9 a.m. I can go on and on and on, believe me, with a cup of coffee. We'll see you on Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning EST. We have a special guest. Trish Hart is going to be here. Her energy, her beauty, her another person who changed their life. She came from corporate America, an accountant and a bookkeeper for celebrities, and now she changed her life to do what she wants to do in her business. I want you to come and taste it, guys, because that's what we're talking about here all the time, right? How you can be powerful, stronger, happier life. I love you guys. Happy Friday. I'll see you next Wednesday. Oh, wait a second. I'm like thinking this is Friday again. Next Wednesday we have Stacy Sobel, who is the editor of Salon Today. The editor of Salon Today is going to be here, and she is going to tell you so many things that you always wanted to know. So come join us Wednesday 11 a.m. and then Friday we having Trish Hart. Love you guys. I can't wait to see you on Wednesday. And enjoy this weekend. Yeah, not too much bread, not too much gluten. Ciao. Mwah. Thanks, Evan. Love you.